Hi, we're group 4 and we got question number 1 where it says let R be the region bounded by the graphs x equals y squared and x equals 9. Find the volumes of the solid that has R as its base if every section by a plane perpendicular to the x-axis is an equilateral triangle. So first what I did is I just drew out my graphs that were given to me, and then I added the triangles into here. And then I just brought the shape down over here just to clean it up a little bit. And I made it a change in x because it says that it's perpendicular to the x-axis. So I did that. I labeled all of my points, and the way I did that is right here. I just made the two graphs that were given to us equal to each other, and I found that it was plus or minus 3, which I did like that. And then I needed to find the area of my cross section, which I did over here. I made each side 2y, and I made this little one equal to y since we cut it in half, so this is just y. I did this equation right here, and I plugged everything in, which gave me 4y squared minus y squared. That gives me 3y squared, and then when I take the square root of that, a y comes out, and the 3 stays in there. So I get the square root of 3 times y. Then I plug in all my information into this equation right here, a equals 1/2 base times height. My base is 2y. This whole thing right here is my base, not just this right here, it's my whole thing. So it's 2y times my height, which is this, which I found right here, which is square root of 3 times y. The 2's cancel out, so I'm left with just y times the square root of 3 times y. So the y's multiply each other, which gives me the square root of 3 times y squared. But since I want it in the relationship of x, not the relationship of x, since I want it in x terms, I have to find the relationship between x and y. So we know that this was given to us right here, which I wrote down here, x equals y squared. So I changed this to just square root of 3 times x. Then I had to find my volume. So I did my terms from 0 to 9 because my 0 is right here in the x terms and 9 is in the x terms right here. And I did square root of 3 times x dx. I found my integral, which is this. And then I plugged in my limits into each one. I just made the 0 because I know that in my head that if I plug in a 0 into this, it's just going to be 0. So I just did minus 0. Square root of 3. 9 squared is 81. Divided by 2 can't really go into anything, so the answer is just 81 times the square root of 3 over 2.